And it wasn't until high school that I saw this real opportunity to live your faith out. Whatever it is that they have, I want that. And this is sort of the thing that I always come back to in my own faith. All Christians, I think we can all agree,
Okay, we might be doing this whole thing backwards because our first 4 stories were dramatic and miraculous and tragic. There was conversions and tears and visions. And this last episode should be the most dramatic, right? Like this grand climax and grand finale. In a way, it might be the most boring of the stories. But hear me out. Pat Gunning, his story is normal, at least normal to me. I'm not a convert. I didn't stop going to Mass. I've never had a mystical vision. But sometimes God works in the dramatic, and sometimes he works in the subtle, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the simple. So while this might not be a crazy story, it might be a more common story.
I grew up Catholic, and we went to Mass growing up, but that was really it. There wasn't a daily sort of calling back to your faith. And it wasn't until high school that I saw this real opportunity to live your faith out in your life. And I just remember the people that in the youth group that I started going to, the youth minister, the core members, the other teens who were my peers at the time, like those people seeing that joy, seeing that peace, this kind of extra whatever it is, knowing like whatever it is that they have, I want that. And I didn't know what it was at the time, but it was Jesus really that I wanted. And as I continued to go, that's what I started to discover. I started to realize this person, Jesus, that I was meeting in these people is the same person that is in the Eucharist. It's the same person who brought me this peace, brought me this joy in all these other people. And this is sort of the thing that I always come back to in my own faith. As I got through college and through my young adult years, I always come back to the heart of my faith that was founded there, of the hospitality, the joy, the peace, and sharing that with others, and continue to nourish it for myself in the Eucharist, in daily prayer, and in just loving people and being loved by them and discovering more about myself through these people and through God, who is just constantly nourishing us and desiring to nourish us if we're open to that.
Peace. That's probably the best way to explain my experience. Not dramatic, not powerful, not emotional, not even eventful really. But when I'm doing the will of God, I feel at peace. When I have 2 different options to decide between, the one that brings me the most peace is usually the right one. And when I'm in front of the Eucharist in a Catholic church, I feel at peace. And to me, that's enough. I've dug into the questions and I believe intellectually that Jesus is present in the Eucharist, even if I haven't had a dramatic experience. And maybe the greatest lesson in all of this is that we are all on a unique journey, that we have different pasts, different mistakes, different opportunities, and different ways that God is trying to speak to us. My story isn't yours. Yours isn't Pat's or Amy's or Abby's or anybody else's. It's your story and God loves you. And that leaves us with a simple challenge from Pat.
I would say to any student that isn't Catholic on this campus that maybe is curious about the Eucharist or wants to know more about that, I would say just come see for yourself and, know that there's no tricks. There's no like punchline at the end, that it's simply is that it's God. That's God in Eucharist. Like we believe that this is truly Jesus himself in the Eucharist. That's not just a symbol. It is a symbol, but it's not just a symbol. It's more than that. It's truly Jesus himself in the Eucharist, and that we get the amazing privilege to receive him too, on the tip of our tongue or in the palm of our hand. The God of the universe who created all of us, who created the oceans and the stars and the sky. That same God died on the cross for us and gives himself to us every day. And, all Christians, I think we can all agree, God is constantly giving himself to us throughout the days. And he shows us in so many amazing ways. Perhaps the most beautiful way is through the Eucharist. So I would just say, come check it out and see for yourself if it's something that brings you peace. Is it something that you can start to maybe wrap your mind around a little bit? Is it something that possibly could transform your life? Come see for yourself.
So no pressure, No guilt trip, no shaming, just an invitation to go to a Catholic church and spend some time in front of the Eucharist. That's the tabernacle. Inside there is Jesus present, truly waiting for you, waiting for me. And maybe something amazing will happen, but maybe it'll just bring you some peace.